Today we're going to talk about sync and kind of getting started. So, of course, the first thing I ever want any of you to do is go through the webinars from Sync. I'm not a Sync trainer, they're Sync trainers, so use them first. But obviously, with us, you want to kind of see what's going on and how to use the system the best way possible. So we'll do a quick little one here. So I just have it basically set up so you're not going to see everybody because as the broker, mine is going to look a little different. I can see everybody's lead flow and all that stuff. So I just kind of have a screenshot where there's only one thing. So the first thing we're going to do here is walk you through how to add your own leads manually, because obviously we know leads come into the system and get assigned to agents, but this is a good system for you to be able to put your own leads in there, and your own contacts, your own database in here. That way you can manage them in one platform. So we'll kind of do a test one right this second. So what you want to do is you're going to go up here to where it says add new lead. It's going to ask if you have consent to add this person. We obviously hit yes. And what type of lead? Buyer, seller, or it's a recruit. Recruit's really more for me, so if I wanted to recruit other agents, or if you wanted to recruit team members, if you will, but it's more than likely either going to be a buyer or seller, or you can do both. So this one we'll just make it easy. So we're going to call it, you can give this person a name, and they are Tester McGee. Their email address is required, so it's going to be info@zahlerproperties.com. We'll see if that works. Phone number is required as well. Let's see if it'll let me get through that. Obviously, if you know the person's information as far as where they're living now, that would be great to enter it. The more information you have, the better, but you're not required to. For source, there's plenty of different options. So this is where that way you can track. So was it a Zillow review, or was it your past client, or was it a cold call, or did it somebody you met at an open house? Plenty of options, as you can see, and more options are added all the time. If you see something or don't see an option that you would like, let me know and we can see if we can add it. So I'm just going to call this one, this Tester McGee was a past client of mine. Obviously here I can assign whoever I want, but I believe it would give you the option just to assign yourself, so we'll assign me. If you want to assign a lending partner right away, that's where you could do here, where it says partner. You could do one of our lending partners. You can also assign a different listing agent if it wasn't you. Here you can assign any of the labels that we have, the custom labels we have, if you wanted to. So you can go to buyer nurture warm or whatever you want to do. Call it buyer nurture A, somebody who's hot. At that point, you can say this is a test. This would be the initial note that you would leave in the system. That way there's a note in there. And as you can see, there's an option to send them an automatic welcome email. That automatic welcome email basically just gives the website name. It gives their log information so they can actually log in themselves. So I like sending login or the welcome emails if somebody knows that I'm putting them into my system. If they don't know I'm putting them into my system or I'm adding a lot of names, I wouldn't put them in as a welcome email. You can always send the welcome email additionally. So that's good. I'm actually going to also, rather than assigning it to me just for the purposes of the screen behind me, I'm going to assign it to unassigned and unassigned. That way it should show up behind. So I'm going to hit save. And email already exists, of course. So let's see if that helped and worked. So I can't use that email, so I'm just going to use a fake email, fake@zahlerproperties.com. Let's save it. There we go. So it'll automatically bring up the information. You can verify on here whether or not that is valid information. So if you say it's valid, the system will try to send stuff. You can keep it in the new lead status, or if it's somebody you've already had a conversation with, you could change the status here or to attempted or what have you. Say like you're already showing the property, great. So that's how you create a lead, right? And again, you've been watching the webinars. You've hopefully been talking about this stuff with me. So I'm going to kind of go through it kind of quickly. Here you can leave notes, whether it's a call note or a general note. This is a test, and we are going to show everyone how it works. You could do that. If you want that note to remain on the top, you make it a sticky note. I love sticky notes because that way you always know they're going to be on the top of the screen. I'll hit save. So right there you can see it becomes a sticky. So anything that will still stay on the top and all the new activity will go on the bottom. Their info, you can always add or change. So if you get their address later on, you can change it in here and just make sure you update it. If there's a spouse information or secondary contact information, you can add that here. Here's where you're going to go to reminders. So if you want to set reminders, so we'll pretend I wanted to talk to Tester next week and give Tester a call. I would go call, and you can do whatever you want. Check in on status. Set their reminder for next week. I personally like to have all of my reminders set for 8 a.m. For any day. Not like I'm going to do them all at 8 a.m., but that way when I get up in the morning and I know that I've got some stuff to work on in sync, all this stuff is going to hit my reminder schedule right away. That way I can kind of create a list of the things. So if I had reminders set for 8 and 10 and 12 and 4, I could think I'm maybe done with all my sync work for the day, and then all of a sudden I get a list of other things that are coming through. So I try to just set all my reminders for 8 a.m., click save. I'm not going to remind myself. So you would click save because I personally don't want to get reminded of this because it's a bogus account. So you would click save right there and it would be good, but I'm going to cancel it, of course. Plans we're not using right now. If we do start using plans a little bit more in effect, I'll have a video on it. If you wanted to schedule appointments, you can do so here. I use our Google Calendar. I don't use this. And then subscriptions. Here's where this is where you can kind of monitor things. So up top, the Tester has given us the ability to send them property alerts, text alerts, and emails. If we find out that the phone number here is not a valid cell phone number, the text message alerts will be removed because you obviously can't send a text message to a number that's not a cell. The other thing I always like, especially if I'm paying attention to people, is I like to check this box, the send me alerts for a sign-in. That way, if they sign into the site, you'll get a notification right away. So you can kind of track to see how often people are actually logging in. There are drip campaigns that you can assign. We'll talk about drip campaigns on a separate text altogether. So this is kind of how you work things. From here, you can actually click here to email. So you can actually email through the system. So remember we said earlier that the welcome email you can always send later. So if you go to template, we'll just show you right down here. There's a lot of these templates that are set up. And there are several that are welcome emails. But realistically, if you scroll all the way down, there should be seller. Oh, not seller. You just want the welcome email. Okay? As you can see, it auto-fills it in. So it's going to say, hi, first name, welcome to Zahler Properties at searchvegasareahouses.com. Here's your login information, blah, 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 blah. So as I said, you can do it later, which is great. The email will look something like this. Really professional. It does have your information on it, which is great. You can then click OK, or you can send a test if you want to see what it looks like. But everything's going to be branded with you. So we'll cancel this. You can also text message from here. So you can call or text. So text message, you can say, you can actually send a text. Hi, Tester. And you can actually send a text from the system too. If you send anything from the system, it'll automatically track it. So we talked about keeping track of everything for you and making sure you're following up with your leads. Doing things through this system is going to be the easiest way. That way it automatically pulls up essentially on your feed right here. So if we were to send a text message, it would pop up right here saying, buyer agent sent Tester a text message, and it will show what the text message is. So that's really awesome. I always suggest using that, especially for the newer leads up front. That way you can kind of keep a track of stuff. So that's how you work within the system for a lead. I'm going to go back here and go to our filters. So for this, I'm going to go, actually the filters, you know what, never mind. I'm going to do the filters on its own video. So that's adding a lead to the system and kind of showing you how to use the system and the individual information. So we'll do some more videos, but that's the video for today.